You are tuned to ARP on the Accelerated Radio Network. It's 12 noon, and it's time to have lunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now here's your host, Miss Charline.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Miss Charline, and welcome to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Today we have in our studio Miss Cynthia Tan. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon. Cynthia is with New York Life Insurance, and today we're going to demystify long-term care insurance. That has been a question that I've had, and certainly most of America has had, is what are the ramifications of not having long-term care insurance, and what are the benefits of having it? And we've got a lot of questions surrounding this. So Cynthia, I want to thank you so much for coming in and helping us demystify this subject. And you know, it's funny because people think this is a subject for our older listeners, when in fact it should be something that all of our listeners, starting at like age 18, should really listen to and understand. So let's get started.
Well, thank you for introducing me. And I love to talk to people about this particular issue for the simple reason that no one talks about this.
Right.
So when I tell people about long-term care planning, the first thing in their mind is, oh, I'm going to be in a nursing home.
That's right.
All the time, it's always equated to that. But you have to realize individuals right now who are availing of long-term care planning, they're actually between the ages of 18 and 64.
So most of the people using long-term care are between the ages of 18 and 64, when we think that it's between 65 and above.
You're absolutely right.
Wow.
And that is a misconception. People really do not think of long-term care. And, well, first of all,
what is long-term care? What is that?
Okay, well, long-term care, think about it this way. When you wake up in the morning, what is it that you do? First of all, you wake up, then you transfer yourself to the bathroom. Then when you go to the bathroom, you use the toilet. Next thing you do is probably take a shower.
Right.
After taking a shower, you go out and get dressed. And after getting dressed, you go to the kitchen and make yourself breakfast.
Right.
So just that time from waking up all the way to eating breakfast, you are actually doing the daily activities of life. So you're transferring yourself to the bathroom, you're using the toilet, you're taking a bath, you're putting your clothes on. At the same time, you're helping yourself for some breakfast. Now, if you cannot do two of those activities, then you are actually eligible for long-term care. Now, in addition to that, if you have cognitive impairment, for instance, if you have dementia, Alzheimer's, that definitely requires another person to take care of you.
That's right.
So that's long-term care right there. It's not just for individuals who are 65 and over. That could happen to anyone where you get a stroke, or you go in an accident, you're driving, you have an accident, and all of a sudden, two of those daily activities you cannot do anymore. And so the doctor tells you, okay, you need someone to take care of you. So it's kind of like a custodial care. It's not really medical care or health care where you have to be in a hospital. It's actually custodial care when you have another person assisting you to do the daily activities of life. So that is long-term care.
Right. So that's a misconception too then, because it's not really the insurance side of it. It's more the custodial care. You know, how are you going to be maintained when you can't do two or more of the normal life activities?
Yes.
Things that we don't even think about: getting out of bed, going to the bathroom, showering, brushing our teeth, fixing ourselves something to eat. You know, those normal mobility things that we do that we don't even think about, you know. And so you're right that you can be impaired of doing those things at age 18, like, because kids drive, you know, and for, you know, God forbid they get into a car accident or something like that, you know, any kind of accident, and they're more active then because they're skiing and riding a bike or a motorcycle, all these things.
Right. So you're absolutely right. It's not just something for the elderly. It's also for anyone who's moving.
Right.
So that's long-term care when you cannot do two of the daily activities anymore in life.
And so now that you've explained what long-term care is, this is one of the questions that often comes up. Will I need long-term care? And if so, will I need to be in a nursing facility? And you touched on that a little bit, but could you elaborate on that? Because that's the other thing. People equate long-term care to a nursing facility, which
Right.
equates it to someone who's older.
Okay. Well, long-term care, really, there are different factors when you need long-term care. First of all, longevity. If you look at the history of your family, are they living longer? If they are, then, chances are they may need long-term care in the future. So there's actually statistics that any individual who live up to 90 actually lives in a nursing facility for at least 5 years. And does it have to be in a nursing facility? Not necessarily. Right now, for every person in a nursing facility, there are actually 4 people getting care at home. So it doesn't have to be a nursing facility, but then the moment you need it, as you get older, longevity, think about it, you're just like a car. The older the car gets, a lot of the parts of that car become rusty, and it's the same thing for us as well. So there's a likelihood that you will need long-term care. Now, second of all, the gender. As you all know, men die first.
That's very true.
Okay, women live
Statistics
longer.
show that.
I know women live longer, and because of that, if you think about it, any individual in long-term care, so for women, they need at least close to 4 years of care, 3.7 years of care, as opposed to men, that's only 2.2 years in care. We live longer, so women take care of everything. We take care of our sons, our kids, everyone in the world.
That's right.
At the end of the day, who's going to
Who's
take
gonna
care,
take care of
the
us?
women? So that's long-term care right there too, that we have to realize that women need longer years for care.
Right.
Okay. Now, thirdly is your marital status. Are you married or are you single? Normally, when you're married, do you need long-term care immediately? It's normally the spouse or your partner
Right.
who would actually take care of you first before another nurse
or anyone else comes in.
Exactly. And lastly, the health factors. How are you? How's your health history? Are you diabetic? Did you have a stroke? So things like that, even if you take care of yourself 100%, really being health conscious, but then if in your family you have a history of cancer or diabetes, there's a likelihood that eventually you may need long-term care as well. So will you need long-term care? It all depends on different factors. At the end of the day, this is something that we don't plan to use.
Right.
Normally when people think about retirement or thinking about their future, they think about retirement, they think about enjoying life, they think about traveling, they're thinking about taking care of their grandkids or whatever it is now that it's now all about them.
That's right.
But they don't think about having health issues at that point. I've talked to a lot of people, and typically when I've talked to them about what their future plans are, they talk about, well, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to have a hefty retirement plan, and then I'll just die. Nothing in there shows
Nothing in between.
Right.
Just fun, and then die.
Yes. That was and I tell them, okay, that's your dream goal.
Right.
Now, let's go back to reality. There are different things that actually affect your health as well, and that's something that you have to take care of.
Great.
Okay.
Now, Cynthia, if someone wanted to talk to you about their individual needs and, because I know starting at 18, going forward, because this really should be something that you incorporate into, just like you have health insurance,
Right.
just like you have car insurance, long-term care should be something that you incorporate into your budget. And, as a small business owner,
Right.
you should, you don't want your money tied up in your care if it can be avoided. So if someone wanted to further talk to you about something like this, how would they get in contact with you?
Well, that's pretty easy. They could either go to my website, www.cynthiactan.com. They may contact me there, or they may contact me directly at my office here in Los Angeles. And the number is 323-782-3263.
Okay.
Okay, so they may contact me at that point. And there's just different options as far as designing a long-term care insurance.
Right.
And it's not just something where you do over the phone.
Exactly. You want to sit down with the person,
Right.
go over their, all of the aspects of their life, really, including their income and
Yes.
their age and their
Yes.
health history and all that kind of stuff is part of it. But today is demystifying, letting us understand what long-term care is and what benefits there are in looking into having that as a part of your insurance portfolio.
Right.
So I'd like to ask you, how long have you been in this business?
Actually, with New York Life, I've been with New York Life close to a decade right now.
Wow.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yes. And prior to that, I was with a different brokerage firm, mostly on investments.
Okay.
But now, as I get older in my business, I recognize the different kinds of options that are really, really very important for individuals, whether they're just employees or business owners, to really think of what they need to put in their portfolio to protect them and at the same time to make them more money.
Right. And so that brings up another interesting point, which is, like you said, whether you're an employee or a small business owner or a large business owner, whatever you're doing in life, this is something that you need to think about, talk about, explore, and, make this a part of your insurance plan for now and in your future.
Well, if you think about it, especially for business owners, for their employees, this could be a benefit in addition to what they give already to the employees. And with the IRS laws, a certain portion of the long-term care insurance premiums can be a tax write-off for a business owner.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's actually one of the benefits that now IRS is requiring for business owners to get, for the simple reason that I'm pretty much sure IRS and Social Security know that long-term care is something that individuals will get in the future.
Right. And it's also something that has a significant impact on someone's ability, their income. It could have a negative impact on their ability to earn income.
Right. And for the employees as well, if, for instance, if I'm an employee and then my mom gets sick, I would call in sick. I would take some time off work just to take care of my mom. And that right there's an indication that it could be another benefit for employers to give the employees.
Right.
So
this is amazing.
Yes.
So much information, because this is not something that's talked about, like you said, and it's definitely not first and foremost when you think about insurance. You don't even, unless you've been educated on this fact, you don't even think about long-term care insurance. And so you spoke on this a little bit, but I want you to give me a little bit more detail. You talked about being at home versus in a nursing home or in a hospital or that kind of care. So what is the difference? And could you explain to us, like, as far as this type of insurance, how does it facilitate the differences?
Okay, well, for instance, if you're in a nursing facility, that requires a skilled nurse or a physical therapist to actually work with you on a daily basis.
Right.
Now, if you have planned for long-term care, what is given to you is basically the choice where you want the care, because you could have the nurses and the physical therapists go to your home as well. So that's very important, and most people would love to get their care at home. It's familiarity.
Right.
And not sharing it with other patients in the building. A stranger, exactly. In addition to that, who is going to take care of you? If you planned for long-term care, now you could choose the nurse, you could choose the doctor, you could choose the physical therapist. You have that ability, you have that option, as opposed to now you have your family just to take care of you because you didn't plan for it. Right, because there's a huge cost involved in not having long-term care insurance. Right. And we're going to talk about that in a moment too. And let's go right into that, because we are today, if you're just tuning in, my name is Miss Charlene, and you're listening to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. And today we are talking about demystifying long-term insurance. We're talking about what is long-term insurance, what are the benefits of having it, and what could happen if you don't have it. Right. And we're talking to Cynthia Tan, and she's from New York Life, and I'm so glad you're in the studio today with us, because this is a very important topic. Okay, good afternoon once again, and thank you for listening to us here today. Definitely. So, Cynthia, again, I'd like you to give us your contact information. Again, my name is Cynthia Tan, and I work for New York Life. If you wish to contact me, you could check my website at www.cynthiactan.com, or you may call me at my office here in Los Angeles. My direct line is 323-782-3263. And you're hearing Cynthia on Lunch with the Finance Bunch. You can watch us on YouTube. We would love for you to come and see us on YouTube. You just go to Lunch with the Finance Bunch,
And when you see the episodes, we'd love to hear your comments and feedback. And please subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. You can also listen to us every Friday from noon to 1. And we're on acceleratedradio.net/ARP. If you're on your computer, if you're on your smartphone, go to TuneIn Radio. Look for Accelerated Radio, and you can find us at noon. Every Friday at lunchtime, we're here.